Greetings. I am Dr. Karl Nath, the Editor-in-Chief of Mayo Clinic Proceedings. I am pleased to once again welcome you to the multimedia summary for the journal's June 2017 issue. This month there are 4 articles designated Editor's Choice or Highlight Selection. Our Editor's Choice is an original article authored by Dr. Michael Ma from the Department of Ophthalmology at Mayo Clinic in Rochester, Minnesota, and colleagues from Mayo Clinic's divisions of cardiovascular diseases, hematology, and biomedical statistics and informatics in Rochester. The authors examined whether physician gender plays a role in the provision of services for Medicare patients in the United States. All the U.S. medical school classes are approaching parity in gender, with women representing 48% of enrolled medical students in 2014. Research shows gender disparities. For example, compared with men, women are more likely to work part-time, to shoulder a greater proportion of family responsibilities, to receive gender discordant mentoring, and to perceive gender-related obstacles to career advancement. Using 3 publicly available Centers for Medicare and Medicaid Services databases, the authors examined all 2013 Medicare fee-for-service physicians and their patients for services rendered between January 1st and December 31st, 2013. and combined these with 2015 data. The authors pooled participants according to physician gender, specialty, years after graduation, and types of service. The results showed that the total Medicare allowed payments to female physicians were 55% of those for male physicians overall. The specific findings of the study include the following. Female physicians average smaller total allowed Medicare charges, had fewer unique beneficiary visits, and had lower work intensity estimates when compared with male physicians, independent of specialty type and years in practice. Based on these data, the authors suggest that female physician Medicare payments are lower due to different practice patterns. The authors also suggest that these observations may have important implications for the physician workforce, and that the Medicare claims data may quantify but not explain these gender-related differences. In this regard, additional studies are clearly needed. The article is accompanied by an editorial authored by Dr. Donald Barr from Stanford University School of Medicine in Stanford, California. Dr. Barr shares a real-life experience of gender discrimination witnessed in 1969 when he was a medical student member of his medical school's admission committee to highlight the history of and efforts to address such gender disparity. He notes that women commonly assume a greater role in childcare and speculates that this role of the caregiver influences the time women spend with patients. In research Dr. Barr conducted in 1998, women physicians spend more time with patients than their male counterparts, and this is valued by patients. He concludes that the income disparities identified by the work of Ma and colleagues are real, but this may not result from biased systems of payment. Rather, these disparities may reflect the styles of practice and values that women physicians bring to healthcare. Their focused attention and dedicated time and care enable their patients to come away feeling heard, understood, and involved as a partner in their own care. Our first highlight article in the June 2017 issue of the Proceedings is an original article authored by Dr. Daniel D. Simone from the Division of Infectious Diseases at Mayo Clinic in Rochester, Minnesota, and colleagues from the Divisions of Internal Medicine, Dental Specialties, Epidemiology, and Biomedical Statistics and Informatics, and the Departments of Health Sciences Research, Neurology, Information Technology, and Cardiovascular Diseases, also at Mayo Clinic in Rochester. The authors determined the adherence of dental providers to the 2007 American Heart Association's Infective Endocarditis Prevention Guidelines regarding antibiotic administration prior to invasive dental procedures. This is the first study to evaluate the impact of the prevention guidelines in a United States population, the latter based on dental records in the Rochester Epidemiology Project Medical Records Linkage Database in Olmsted County, Minnesota. The authors emphasize three key findings: a rapid and significant decline in antibiotic prophylaxis prior to invasive dental procedures in the moderate risk group following the publication of 2007 AAH guidelines, an unexpected and significant reduction in antibiotic prophylaxis in the high-risk group following publication of these guidelines and against the guideline recommendations, and antibiotic prophylaxis for non-indicated procedures, already low before 2007, further declined after the 2007 guidelines in both the moderate and the high-risk groups. The authors emphasize a continued need for medical education to ensure compliance with national guidelines. The second highlight article in this month's issue is the next contribution to the Symposium on Neurosciences and is authored by Dr. Richard Caselli from the Department of Neurology at Mayo Clinic in Scottsdale, Arizona, and colleagues from Sivin Laboratory for Neuropathology, Bannerson Health Research Institute in Sun City, Arizona, and the Departments of Neurology at Mayo Clinic in Rochester, Minnesota, and Jacksonville. In this review, the authors discuss the history, clinical features, neuropathology, and genomics of Alzheimer's disease. They also address unresolved clinical questions and diagnosis and therapeutic strategies. The authors point out that the salient approach in reaching a diagnosis centers on excluding reversible mimics by appropriate and relevant evaluation. The latter includes a history and physical examination, structural brain imaging, laboratory tests, and cognitive assessments that are either office-based brief mental status examination or detailed neuropsychological assessment. Spinal fluid examination, EEGs, and other tests may also be needed. Unresolved at this time, as pointed out by the authors, is the utility of genetic and biomarker tests in establishing a diagnosis. Readers who complete the required documentation and tests can receive up to 1 hour of continuing medical education credit in conjunction with this article. The third highlight in this month's issue is a special article authored by Dr. Will Santivasi from the Department of Medicine and colleagues from the section of Palliative Medicine, the Department of Medicine, and the Division of General Internal Medicine at Mayo Clinic in Rochester, Minnesota. The article provides data showing that 30,974 solid organ transplants were performed in the United States in 2015. The year ended with more than 122,000 patients still on waiting lists, and per patient costs of organ transplants ranging from $300,000 for a pancreas or kidney transplant to $1.5 million for an intestine transplant. Using a case scenario, the authors describe ethical issues, example of diseases with poor survival, technologically advanced treatment options, and strategies for addressing the transplant imperative. They point out that most patients listed for solid organ transplant will die while waiting transplantation, and many may not have had discussions regarding goals of care. The authors suggest that an awareness of the transplant imperative would lead to improved understanding among specialists, generalists, and patients, and will provide opportunities for more formalized involvement of palliative medicine specialists in the care of transplant patients. You can access these highlights and editor's choice articles free of charge during the entire month. Please visit our Mayo Clinic Proceedings website at www.mayoclinicproceedings.org and review some of the other free content there. To follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube, please access the social media buttons at the top of the home page so you can remain current on online first publications that are introduced on our website between the monthly issue updates. Our website also lists many news stories that are based on articles published in Mayo Clinic Proceedings. On our YouTube channel, you can find video content such as full author interviews, our 60-second video article summaries. Please also check out our Mayo Clinic Proceedings fireside chat recordings, which is available through iTunes in addition to access from our website. As always, thank you for your interest in and support of Mayo Clinic Proceedings.
We hope you found this presentation from the content of Mayo Clinic Proceedings valuable. Our journal's mission is to promote the best interests of patients by advancing the knowledge and professionalism of the physician community. If you are interested in more information about us, our homepage is www.mayoclinicproceedings.org. There you will find access information for our social media content, such as additional videos on our YouTube channel or journal updates on Facebook. You can also follow us on Twitter. More information about healthcare at Mayo Clinic is available at www.mayoclinic.org. This video content is copyrighted by Mayo Foundation for Medical Education and Research.